I was moved to write a long email to this author because in the back of the book, there are the email addresses of all these authors. And so there's a essay in there by Robert Lockhart, and it's about art. Did you read it?
I have to hear more about it. I don't know.
Okay, well,
Because Woodcock wrote about artists, he starts out talking about art. He starts out with Grace and Carey.
Women are not going to be.
well, this isn't Woodcock. This is Robert Lockhart, and we're talking about the book called Jung's Red Book for Our Time, Searching for Soul in Postmodern Conditions. And that book has, I think it's, that book has 18 essays in it by Jungian analysts. Many of those essays I'm finding profound, actually. And I really liked Robert Lockhart's essay also. Well, it's about art and about it's everything you like, which is how the artist is pushing through from the unconscious and so on. This is stuff that nobody ever taught me. When I was in art classes in high school, nobody ever talked to me about, it coming from your unconscious. Nobody ever said anything like that. And yeah, absolutely, it's right. But
A lot of mental stimulation, but I get home and I'm just sometimes.
God help us.
Time to digest it and process.
Our art school, our art teaching is horrific in this country. Not only, first of all, we've written art, music, and all programs like that out of public education anymore, and so we've lost the whole, that whole side of the psyche in our public education. But even when we had it, it was hopeless. Those teachers never understood that this stuff was.
Well, they usually didn't have people who were trained in the arts. They would just have a classroom teacher. They would have a classroom teacher teaching art who had no idea what art was about, and they would take mimeographs and have people draw or color, and then have to stay in the lines. It'd be all sorts of rules. It'd be almost like an accountant telling kids how to be an artist.
30 seconds to think about
Right.
a response. They get a much higher quality response.
As you correctly corrected me numerous times,
But it's too penetrating sometimes.
some
My
things are
texting
just
partner
designed,
disappeared.
not art. And so he was talking about this. He was talking about this distinction between art and design, and
The difference between creativity and problem solving.
But don't you think I feel like that's in education in general, like the whole teacher's telling you what to think instead of teaching you how to think. Critical thinking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
that's.
We need a lazy Susan.
I'm glad you took the seat this week.
I forced him into it. I took a seat this week.
Look at that. See? I knew there was a deeper motive. And it's
The troops are complaining about the microphone.
It's gonna hold it.
it reminds me of the, what's that little robot thing?
That's what I'm thinking. Well, that's what we need is a robot like that, like a Wally.
You know, the one on Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, R2D2.
Yeah, R2D2, yes, that is me.
But we've written the entire emotional side. What do we call this side, Bill? If we have this rational side, it's not the irrational side. It's not irrational per se. I had someone on a Jungian group on Facebook correct me and say that it's trans-rational.
I thought it was post-trans-rational.
Post-trans-rational. No, but what do we call the emotional side of the psyche? Is it the emotional side or
The energic side. The
energy side?
The psyche. The
the psyche.
energic.
Well, I think emotion is one of the... emotion fits along the axis of intuition and sensation. And when you begin to parse out your feelings about things, that's when your emotions, you use feelings or thinking. I mean, that's part of the mechanics of the Jungian model. And so when you have an emotion and you want to give it a language, you're working from feeling or you're working from thinking. And as far as art goes, I think you've got to really work from the feeling side, because that's where you're working with Eros and you're looking for relationships, whereas when you're working with thinking and Logos, you're dissecting stuff, tend to be.
Slicing and dicing.
Yeah. Not that there's a pure distinction from one side to the other. People mix it all up. People as artists and designers mix those together, and so you could say, well, he's an artist designer, he's a designer artist, he's an artist. She's a designer, she's an artist. You know, it could go.
Yeah, okay, so there's variegation in these
But I think emotions,
people types, right?
emotion, when you're talking about emotion, you're right down at the threshold prior to things becoming articulated, whether it's through feeling or thinking.
Okay, it's a more primitive level.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Dr. Jung make references to a primitive level in the psyche, but it's where we live. It's the living part of us. Once we start slicing and dicing, we're not living anymore. Okay.
No, but then we can act, we can begin to design and make art and do things. that
Well,
the
okay,
animals
create
can't.
religions and so an animal can't create a religion. It's
Except
primitive.
My hamster.
Your hamster has religion.
I went in there. He had a mandala in his cage.
Okay, so Nietzsche's point was that Western European religion, specifically Christianity, had sliced and diced Christianity so much that there was no life in it anymore.
Just money, right?
Just money. And so God was dead meant, okay, we're going through the motions, but, what's it for, really? And what Jung did was he came back and said, there is a living God, and it's within us, and it's everywhere, and it's only a question of going back to it, because what we've been doing for the last 500 years is slicing and dicing God. And
But if there's 7 billion people on the planet, there's 7 billion gods.
yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Monotheistic, right?
right, there's a God image in everybody, and it's not the same in anybody,
That's right.
right?
Reflection. So.
Right,
Well, that's why Hillman argued for a pantheon rather than, or what?
right.
Wow, what a pantheon that would be.
Okay.
It's called planet Earth.
He's
Take care.
All right.